Good morning, class. Today we are going to continue on indices. In our last class, we stopped at law number 4. So we'll continue with number 5. Other laws of indices. Law number 5. X raised to power A or raised to power B means you writing your x, then multiplying the powers so that you have A times B, and it becomes x raised to power AB. You multiply your powers so that you have x raised to power AB. You have to simplify the following. Now, if you want to simplify them, for example, b raised to power 4 or raised to power 2 will give you b raised to power 4 times 2. Applying this law, and you have b raised to power 8 since 4 times 2 is 8. 3m raised to power 4 or raised to power 2. Everything inside the bracket will be affected by the power 2. 3 will be squared here. Then you apply your law, this new law to this. M raised to power 4 raised to power 2 becomes m raised to power 4 times 2. 3 squared is 9. M raised to power 4 times 2 is m raised to power 8. Here, this minus 2 will not be affected. But what is in the bracket is what will be affected, so that you have minus 2 a raised to power 2 times 3. And that gives minus 2 a raised to power 6. Here, the minus will be affected, c raised to power 3 will be affected. When you raise a negative sign to an even power like 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 or 10 and so on, the negative power becomes positive. Let me repeat it again. This power 2 will affect this minus. When minus is raised to an even power like 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 and so on, it becomes positive. So this minus, raising it to an even power 2, becomes plus. Applying your law now, c raised to power 3 raised to power 2 becomes c raised to power 3 times 2, which is c raised to power 6. The plus is still here, no need to show it. Here, everything inside the bracket will be affected. So this will become x raised to power 2 times 4, applying your law, y raised to power 3 times 4. So that your final answer becomes x raised to power 8, y raised to power 12. Here, the minus will be affected, 4 will be affected, u raised to power 3 will be affected. This v, write it as an index, v raised to power 1. When you raise a negative sign to an odd power like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on, it remains negative. I want to repeat this again. When you raise a negative sign to an odd power like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on, it remains negative. So this minus, raising it to an odd power 3, remains negative. 4 will be raised to power 3. For u, it will be u raised to power 3 times 3, applying your law. For v, it will be v raised to power 1 times 3, because you need to multiply the powers. Your minus 4 raised to power 3 is 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. U raised to power 9, v raised to power 3. Also, coming to this, raising your minus to an even power becomes plus c raised to power 2 times c raised to power 4 all over. Raising your minus to an odd power remains minus c raised to power 5. Here, apply law number 1. You write 1 base, you add your power, that is c raised to power 2 plus 4, the first law, all over your denominator. And that gives us plus c raised to power 6, since 2 plus 4 is 6, all over minus c raised to power 5. Applying law number 2, plus we divide minus to give minus, so that you write 1 base and subtract your powers, since you are dividing the two indices, and you have minus c raised to power 1, which is minus c. The next law, this law is called a fractional law, where your base is raised to a power that is a fraction. X raised to power 1 over a is the a root of x. For example, if you are to simplify the following, x raised to power 125 raised to power 1 over 3 is the cube root of 125. When you look at it, our x now is 125. You put it inside. Your a here is the 3, so the 3 will be here. So it's cube root of 125. And cube root of 125 means a number you use to multiply itself 3 times to have 125. That number is 5. 5 times 5 times 5 is 5. Here you express it as a fraction first, so that it gives you 4 all over. When you move your point in front of 4, you move it 2 times, so it will be over 100. 0.04 as a fraction is 4 over 100, all raised to power 1 over 2. Reduce to lowest step. 4 here 1, 4 in 100, 25. So it becomes 1 over 25 raised to power 1 over 2. Now apply my law. It will be square root of 1 over 25. When it's square root, we don't write the 2 here. When it's square root, from cube root, you must write it. You put 3. If it's 4 root, you put 4. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 25 is 5, because the number you multiply 2 times to have 25 is 5. Or 1 over 25, expressing it as a decimal, is 0.2. Here, you apply your negative index law, so that you reciprocate this to have 50 over 8 raised to power 1 over 2. The minus sign disappears. That is, from the law, x over y all raised to power minus a becomes y over x all raised to power a. So you reciprocate this, and the minus sign disappears. Reduce to lowest term. 2 here 25, 2 here 4. It becomes 25 over 4 raised to power 1 over 2. Applying your law number 6 now, it means square root of 25 over 4. When it's square root, you don't put 2 here. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 4 is 2. So your answer is 5 over 2, or expressing it as a mixed fraction, 2 number 1 over 2, or as a decimal, 2.5. Law number 3. When it is still a fractional index, but the numerator now is not 1. Here the numerator is 1, but here the numerator is not 1. X raised to power a over b is b root of x raised to power a. B root of x raised to power a. If you are to simplify the following, here now, you see the numerator is no longer 1, it's 2 now, 2 over 3. X raised to power 2 over 3 means cube root of 8 raised to power 2. Cube root of, this is still the root, cube root of 8 raised to power 2. Now you can solve this in 2 ways. How? You work on your cube root first. Cube root of 8 is 2. Your power 2, put it. 2 raised to power 2 is 4. That's 2 times 2. Or, from here, you may leave the cube root, work on what is inside. 8 squared is 64. That's 8 times 8. Cube root of 64 is 4. You still have the same thing. I prefer this one, working on the cube root first before using my power. Here, you apply your negative index law so that you have 1 over 16 raised to power 3 over 4. That's x raised to power minus a is 1 over x raised to power a. That's the law here. Then apply this your new law to the bottom number here so that you have 1 over 4th root of 16 raised to power 3. 4th root of 16 raised to power 3. 1 over the 4th root of 16 is 2. My power 3. And this gives 1 over 8 because 2 raised to power 3 means 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Coming here, I want my negative sign to disappear. So I'll reciprocate this to have 27 over 8 raised to power 2 over 3. Then now I will apply my law, which gives me cube root of 27 over 8 all raised to power 2. Cube root of 27 is 3. Cube root of 8 is 2 all raised to power 2. 3 raised to power 2 is 9. That is 3 times 3. 2 raised to power 2 is 4. That's 2 times 2. So our answer is 9 over 4, or 2 number 1 over 4 as a mixed fraction, or 2.25 as a decimal. Either of these is correct. Coming here, 4 raised to power 3 over 2 is square root of 4 raised to power 3. Square root of 4 is 2 raised to power 3. And that gives 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So in summary, the 3 new laws that you are to add to the first 4 now are x raised to power a or raised to power b is x raised to power a times b, which is x raised to power ab. X raised to power 1 over a is the a root of x. And x raised to power a over b is the b root of x all raised to power a. Thank you.